Yo, what's up, everybody? This is another video here. So we're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about, and I had originally made this one video, but it turned out this topic could be two videos. So here's one of the things that I thought that was very interesting, right? Is I was looking at Patrick Mahomes. We're going to talk about Super Bowl stuff. We're going to talk about coaching, coaches being married to the players, right? So you have, so let's look at this idea where Patrick Mahomes, everybody's talking about he's GOAT status and he's very good, he's very accomplished, but I think his relationship with his head coach is going to derail the tail end of his career. And I'm going to tell you why here, okay? So if you look in history of the NFL, if you go back in the history, it's very rare to almost non-existent where you had the relationship with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, right? You had this pairing of people for pretty much 20 years, right? Like 19 years. And you had the same coach and the same superstar quarterback paired together for all these years. That was the consistency. That was the consistent winning formula that the New England Patriots had, right? And then, so if you look at, and Tom Brady is arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time, all the records, Super Bowls, 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Patriots. I mean, it's amazing, right? Bill Belichick, arguably one of the best coaches of all time, right? So one of the things, if you look at parallels, if you look at how do you reach that crazy high mountaintop, is if you look at the pairing of the coaches, right? So you look at Bill Belichick, when he first started his relationship with Tom Brady, he was around 50 years old. So there was a 20-year period, roughly 20 years, where Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were able to stay together. Now, there's a big factor of energy, being able to just keep that going for that many years. Now, if you look at the parallel, if you look at what's going on, and I'm going to bring in another quarterback, and I'm going to tell you that situation, and you can have arguments all the way around, right? But it's just an interesting thing of how people talk about how Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. He's great. He's amazing. But if you look at his relationship with Andy Reid is 65 years old right now. And it takes a lot of energy to be a head coach. We're seeing this, right? We're seeing this kind of develop as time goes on. But Andy Reid doesn't have the longevity that Bill Belichick had with Tom Brady, because Bill Belichick was a lot younger. I think he was 8 or 9 years younger than Andy Reid is when he started his relationship with Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes is like in his 6th or 7th year, whatever it is, but he has at least 10 years. If he wants to get to GOAT status, if he wants to get to the status of Tom Brady, let's say he has to pay another 10 or 12 years. That would put Andy Reid at 79 years old. And I don't think Andy Reid is going to coach until age 79. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Andy Reid is probably going to coach another 5 or 6 years, and he's just going to retire, 71, 72 years old. You don't have the energy. You have to get up early in the morning. It demands a lot on you and your family, and you're retired. You have your grandbabies. You have all this stuff, right? And Andy Reid's kids and all this other stuff, they're involved in coaching, so he does have that family aspect of it. But, you're going to tap out at a certain point. And so Patrick Mahomes, when he goes through the coaching change, is he going to change teams? Is he going to have this disruption in his career? Even if he stays a career Kansas City Chief, he's going to have to go through another regime change. I couldn't say that word. But during that transition, the chances are is that's going to falter. Right. That's what history has shown us in the NFL, is that doesn't end well. Because a new coach comes in and they're interested in making their own mark. Anything that Patrick Mahomes does after Andy Reid retires, let's say Andy Reid retires in 7 more years, that'll put Patrick Mahomes at year 14, 15. Now with health times and everything, you can stretch a career to 20 years. Not everybody does it, but you can go to 20 years. So he can have a good 6 years left in him. And so the head coach, the new head coach that would come in, would either want to trade Patrick Mahomes because his contract would be up. If he hasn't extended, then it would be a head coach that maybe is a little bit more subservient to Patrick Mahomes. and rightfully so, because Patrick Mahomes, if his career pans out the way it's happening, he'll have 4 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls, right? To get 6 or 7 is kind of disingenuous. It's very difficult to do that, right? He's on the verge of possibly getting the first back-to-back Super Bowls in a long time. It's very difficult to do. But the interesting aspect of it is Patrick Mahomes' career is more dependent on Andy Reid than nobody even talks about this, that these marriages of coach and a superstar player, they're more important than anything. And you've seen this in many different situations derail, right? You have all these head coaches that are bouncing around, and it's like the relationship with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. That was a weird thing, right? You have the relationship with Derek Carr and the Raiders, which they have a carousel of coaches, and that kind of derailed his career a little bit, right? Because you're having to learn new systems every couple, 3, 4 years. You can't get a stable coach. And so it makes it difficult to build this plan, right? So even if you have surprise success, you can't continue it because the managerial staff is all changing, and they all want to make their own mark. They all want to show you that they can do better. And they don't necessarily want to take on a quarterback that is a quote unquote good player, because they want to show people that they can hire somebody. They want to leave their mark on it. And having an incumbent superstar quarterback derails that. It stops that. It doesn't give you validity, right? And if you look at a parallel in all this, and we can look at Alabama with Nick Saban. If he retires, whoever's coming in next it's going to be a weird situation altogether with that, right? And then let's say a Deion Sanders goes in and he is the head coach of the University of Colorado. He came in with low expectations because they've been having bad season after bad season. So whatever he does more, it only makes him look better. So he has a only upside, versus when you have when you have like a Nick Saban, his established program, it's only going to go bad. So the next coach is not going to last long. It's the coach after that. It's like the breakup coach, right? That next coach could then make his mark and have some stability and everything. But so then let's talk it back to the NFL. Patrick Mahomes' relationship with Andy Reid. The consistency is going to be there. The quality of quarterback is going to be there. The coaching is going to be there. But Andy Reid is just going to age out of that situation. And I think that that's going to derail the final parts of Patrick Mahomes' career, because if he gets one injury, then he gets put on the trading block right away. Not because he's not a good quarterback, but because the next incoming coach is going to look for the fast excuse of why not to stick with him. That's kind of like the point of the gist of this video here. And I think it's an interesting topic. We don't look at that, but Patrick Mahomes got paired with a great coach, Andy Reid, a little bit. Andy Reid's a little bit too old. And I don't mean that he can't do it, but for him to be an effective coach at 75 years old is going to be hard, and that's maybe 10 more years. That would put Patrick Mahomes' career, if he won 2 more Super Bowls, if he won this one and then he wins another 2 more, that 5 or 6, now you get put in the Mount Everest of quarterbacks, but it's going to be difficult with an aging head coach. And so I don't know that Patrick Mahomes is the last part of it, let's say the last 5 years of his career, is going to be as fruitful as the beginning of his career. What do you think about this? And, again, the parallel with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is a great example. That really has never been done, by the way. It's really never been done. Joe Montana, maybe with the 49ers and that relationship, but when it changed, it derailed a little bit, right? And you have a person that's great. You don't have as much tolerance for slip-ups. And that's what happens with the incumbent coach, because they want to have a justifiable reason to move on. So there's a little bit of adversarial relationship versus the relationship that Bill Belichick had with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes has with Andy Reid. What are your thoughts on this? I thought this would be interesting for Super Bowl. But anyways, like, subscribe, all that obligatory silly stuff. But anyways, will Patrick Mahomes' career still be on fire after the next coach comes in? That's the question. Talk to you guys later. Bye.